In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about getting an F1 visa and the importance of financial support and how you demonstrate that at your visa interview. Check it out. Hey everybody. All right, we get a lot of questions, and in my practice, I've encountered a lot of people who have applied for an F1 visa and then been denied. So I'm going to go over the process a little bit. Specifically, I want to talk about financial support in the F1 visa context. That's because I got a lot of questions on it from you guys. So the F1 visa starts with getting admitted to a school. That is the very first step. That school actually does a financial review. If you've been an F1 student, you know that on your I-20, on the front page of the I-20, that's the document the school gives you, they list the finances required to participate in this program. And they make it very clear what is a living expense and tuition expenses, and they put it right up front. Now, a school might give you the I-20 and admit you, and that's your very first step. And the school does a little bit of financial analysis by asking you what your finances are, how will you pay tuition, and how are you going to get through that process. Now, what we're seeing a lot of is the consular interview becoming that second kind of difficult step where people are facing a lot of difficulty with these consular officers in proving financial stability. What you want to look at right away is, where is your source of funding? Now, obviously the best source of funding would be a scholarship or a grant from your school or university. As a foreign student, you most likely cannot get California or United States aid packages because those are for US citizens and residents. However, you could get a school benefit like a scholarship or a benefit or a grant. You need to know all about that. Why, how you got it, what it's for, what amount it is, and is it specific? Sometimes schools grant scholarships for living expenses, or they specifically say tuition, or they have it for other programs that are very detailed in what you're doing. Okay? So for example, on-campus living and a scholarship for a 50% reduction of on-campus living expenses. That's very specific because you can't just live off campus and somewhere else. So the scholarship is probably the number one thing you want to be aware of. After the scholarship, the school is looking, the consular officer is looking at you and saying to you, where are you getting the finances to support your tuition and your stay in the United States? This is going to come down to your stability that you have in your family or your supporters. Now, you can have financial support outside your family, but when you do that, keep in mind the officers are going to be a little less, they don't find that as credible as your mother and father. So obviously we start with parents and family, income from them, taxes, any kind of income statements or any kind of employment statements showing that contribution towards your education. Obviously bank records would count in that as well. When you go beyond that, you're starting to look at things like, is there somebody, perhaps a sponsorship in the United States? I know people who have been sponsored by churches or church groups, or missionaries who have been in foreign countries and come back and said, I will personally sponsor the clients, the student who's coming from another state. In those situations, that person has to do more documentation and more evidence and describe that relationship to show the strength of that financial support. So for example, if you had a US resident or somebody else, an uncle or an aunt or a distant family, and they were going to support you at school, you're going to have to document that with a letter from them showing the relationship, their own economic and financial documents, and perhaps even go so far as do what's called an I-213, which is an affidavit of support in I-134, sorry, an I-134, which is an affidavit of support in employment cases. So financial stability in the F1 is one of the biggest factors. I have had clients get turned away. I have had a client specifically win a scholarship, husband and wife, both scholarship from Thailand to go to nursing school in Missouri. They were turned away. We tried to appeal it and fight with the embassy, and it didn't work. That was many, many years ago, and that client still comes back to talk to me about that case. If you're dealing with your own F1 filing and you have questions about your financial ability, you can hire a law office to review it for you, but remember, they're just trying to give you advice or help you with what your package looks like. Your best bet is to gather that information, put it together yourself, and make your strongest case in front of that officer, and that includes a strong question and answer session. All right, I hope this helps you guys out there in your F1 process. Obviously, you can call us if you want. We'd be happy to help you with it. We would love it if you leave a comment below. Tell us how your F1 process is going. Let us know if you have another question about the F1 process, and we would like to make videos that would help you out. Stay strong and stay safe. Take care. Bye.